Good.
Yeah, yep, fire away, Ryan.
Most obviously, two of you guys sick tonight. Desmond still kind of fighting through his knee bruise. You guys shoot 80% in the second half. Just in general, what do you come away with thinking about this team?
Yeah, I mean, this was a must-win for us. You know, we talked about it. It was, you know, a discombobulated week. You know, went into today's shoot-around and basically canceled it. Turned it into a walkthrough. Completely scrapped the entire practice plan. And then Wesley broke his nose. And so, one, shout out to the medical staff for getting Buzo and Wesley available to just put on a uniform. The entire medical staff did a phenomenal job because those guys were sick. And then you add in the fact that Desmond, with the bone bruise, you know, could have been out 3 weeks. And it was round the clock rehab, and that, you know, credit to the player, credit to the medical staff to get him ready, and you know, hopefully his knee will respond, you know, fine tomorrow, and then we get ready for Minnesota on Thursday and Friday, and they've been off a week. I don't know if I've ever seen that before, but we also go on a road trip and come back, and Ohio State's been sitting in LA while we're playing 2 games on. So, never seen a schedule like this in college, but it is what it is, and you get ready for the next one.
Wesley broke his nose during the game?
Yes.
Okay.
Yeah, Penn State made a run. We had St. Thomas with 2 fouls, Buzo with 3 fouls, and Wes back. I don't know if he was getting his nose reset or whatever, but, and I could be wrong, I think it's broken.
Coach, congratulations on the win. Could you talk a little bit about Josh Cohen's plays? He seemed to play much better than he has in a long time.
Yeah, Josh was phenomenal. I thought he was super aggressive. He defensive rebounded tonight, got 4 in 20 minutes. His 12 points were really important. You know, we talked about the shot blocking of number 14 and using pump fakes, 2 to 3 pump fakes until he would leave his feet. And Josh did a great job, you know, fouling him out. I mean, he played 11 minutes and fouled out. So our game plan was to utilize shot fake, pump fakes, go through the chest, and I thought Josh did a phenomenal job of that, because if you look at the fouls drawn, Josh Cohen had 8 fouls drawn, and that was the game plan for our 5 men. So big time credit for him with his play of taking out the Big Ten's leader in shot blocks.
Plus, your dad used to have, you know, a philosophy when you're in a tough spot, play the toughest guys. I know you know, taking that at times. And I mean, Desmond 36 minutes tonight, Wesley 36 minutes. Buzo obviously played a lot of that. Like, how did you come to the determination that, you know, I'm gonna ride with these guys even with everything that's going on, and how did they kind of step to that challenge?
Yeah, I mean, I think, you know, look, the game in Northwestern was it's a game we're going to look back on, you know, because we just didn't defensive rebound. And if we just did a little bit, we would have won that game, you know, and we'd be in a good, really good spot. But we didn't. And but I thought we played well enough to win that game. And, you know, then all of a sudden your road record looks really good. Without Dez, we're just a different team, you know, and you can take any team's leading scorer off their team and they're different, you know, and I thought at Purdue, you know, they're really good at home. It was an incredible crowd. And without Dez, it's going to be an uphill battle. But I thought our guys did a really good job at Northwestern. We came up a basket short. And then when he was healthy and you know, to me, like we talked about earlier today, it's just like, hey, just, you know, if you're able to play, we're gonna ride with you. And those guys are young players. They still have eligibility to come back. So there's a lot of reasons why you know, that backcourt, we're relying on them so much.
How sick were Wesley and Buzo this week?
They were sick.
And
I mean,
how
it was
close to not playing?
I mean, I think only they can answer that. I mean, today when we went through the jump ball, they weren't out there. I mean, I really thought of starting, Shelley and then either Elohim or Clark. That's, when I left my house this morning, I told my wife, I didn't think they were going to play. I did think Des would play, but I did not know about those two. And then at shoot around, I thought Buzo would play, but I was very unsure about Wes. I think Wes is hurting from a sickness, and those guys got IVs for the last couple of days, and I think they felt better after that, at least a little bit better.
And then Wes breaks his nose mid-game and continues to play.
Yeah, I mean, he was bleeding pretty good too, in a huddle, and I guess in the back, the reason that it took so long to get him back out was just how bad he was bleeding. But he's super tough young man, and I think everyone understood the importance of the game. With the travel we have, and they got school today, and they come, then they come straight to shoot around, and we eat, and then, it's a compact day with guys getting rehab and stuff. I mean, Des didn't eat with the team. I mean, he took his plate and went right into JY to get rehab, even at our team meal. That's how, I mean, it's a game that I'll remember for a while just because of how unsure we were about what was going on, we're practicing without 3 starters. I mean, it was a weird couple days.
Hey, Coach, what do you make of USC HC played this last couple games? And also, you just mentioned Jalen Shelley. Can you talk about just him? I know you only have 14 minutes and 9 points. Can you talk about just what you expect from him?
Yeah, I mean, I think with any team, whether it's a baseball team, basketball team, football team, you always hope that during the course of the season somebody can alter your decision making. And look, we put Isaiah in the game at Purdue, and we put Jalen Shelley in the game at Purdue, and both those guys played better than the majority of our roster. It's a non-debatable, and so both of them, we looked at them in practice. Hard to just put 2 freshmen out there, although it could have been either one. And we gave Jalen, first half minutes, and we've always had some player kind of emerge and increase his minutes from the beginning of the year. I don't know if Jalen, based on tonight offensively, he gave up a defensive or an offensive rebound on a missed block out at the end of the half, but that's going to happen with a younger player. But offensively at Purdue, offensively tonight, I thought Jalen was phenomenal. I mean, 9 points in 14 minutes, and then what he did at Purdue, you have to evaluate that, and then you got to give a guy an opportunity. And obviously, our rotations changed from where it was even 2 weeks ago. Some guys that were playing are not playing. Now Shelley is playing, and he's playing his minutes the right way.
Must have to hammer this home again when you're leaving this morning and you're telling your wife that, like, at this point, you guys are, I think we're 13-10 coming into this game. You needed to win the Northwestern game from the optics of it. Really needed to win this game. Like, it's a little bit of sense of dread, like, in the back of your head, knowing that, you might be going into this without your 3 top scorers, or at least 2 top scorers at that point.
Yeah, I mean, it was, I think as a coach, I've been a part of too many big, games, so I don't ever use the word nervous. I just, our big thing was, like, how do we convey to the team how important this particular game is, that, and then how do you get a group of guys to practice and then prep when 3 guys, like Buzo missed, I haven't had a player ever miss a practice. I mean, he was not at practice getting the IV the other day. So he didn't even get the game prep that day. And for me, prep is really important. So I got to take a deep breath and not freak out, that a guy wasn't there, because I would have a tendency to not be able to continue with practice and get distracted. And I think the coaches, hey, just coach who's here, let's keep moving forward. And the guys did a good job of that.
Coach, 2 things. First, do you have an update on Terrence Williams?
Not really. I mean, Terrence is he's out. indefinitely. And, you know, there would be a chance that he could possibly come back towards the end of this thing. But then if you do that, he probably loses an eligibility to play next year. And, you know, for him to play 2 or 3 games or be able to play next year, and I haven't discussed it with him. This is the first time I brought it up, you asked, so I'll bring it up. But if his rehab went well and they said he's cleared, I mean, he and I would have that conversation. But just like with any player, I'd probably give him the advice of what I would for my son, and to play 1 or 2 games as opposed to play 30, you know, because I don't think he can come back before, maybe at the earliest, we'd have 4 games left. And I'd probably, you know, you'd have to be truthful with the player and treat him like a son. And, you know, for the best interest of Terrence, if he can't get 5 or 6 games in, it's probably better to keep it another year.
And then with Penn State, that's a team that came into tonight ahead of you guys in the net ranking. Do you think, assuming you stay on the bubble, you just hope the committee evaluates how much your team has gotten better as time goes on?
Yeah, I think, you know, like there's so much basketball to be played. You know, this was a big game. Minnesota's a big game for us. You know, all of our home games remaining are big games, and then you got to go on the road and do what we've done, except for Purdue. I mean, this team, regardless of record, really competes. I mean, it's been one of the funnest teams I've ever coached. Because they do, I mean, like on the road, I mean, these environments have not really affected our guys. I mean, Purdue, you know, they beat us by a pretty good margin, but they've beaten other teams by a lot bigger margin, and we didn't have Dez. And so, in reality, I thought we competed at Purdue. We lost to a better team and a team that was healthier than us. But if they don't have Braden Smith, I'd love to see the results. You know, that's the truth of the matter.
Last question.
Mus, I know you guys, you told the story originally discovering Wesley or finding him at a track meet, I think back in Texas. You guys, he was obviously recruited highly coming out of high school, but did you guys expect that he had this level of upside to him, you know, even just through the first part of this year, kind of when he was struggling? Like, how things just progressed so fast to where he is?
I think toughness, a personality of head coach and player is really important. And like, you know, he's a guy like I'm with, you know what I mean? Like he connects well with me and I connect well with him. He's just like he's a sewer rat. I mean, he is. He's just, but great question, Luca, because he struggled with the fact that we really value not turning the ball over and having good decision making. But I think once, you know, I mean, it really came to, we had to play him, to be honest with you. And then when we played him and he got through playing through mistakes and he took some questionable shots and we let him go because they went in, then the player breaks through. And once you break through with us, we let you roll. And because of his toughness, he broke through that barrier. And when you break through the barrier with us, you play like 35 minutes a night, not just here, but the last 10 years, like that's what he does. I mean, I'm gonna ride with him whether he goes 0 for 10 or, you know, 8 for 10. I mean, he's one of our guys that we ride with, and I think, you know, that helps guys too. Buzo's been in a slump. Tonight he goes 7 of 9 because, you know, he's gonna play, and there's beauty in that. So,
Awesome. Thank you guys.
We'll miss you, Luca.